You have felt it all week, a pressure behind your ribs that does not belong to ordinary stress, as if something invisible has been aligning itself while you pretended not to notice. This Monday is not just another day on a calendar, but a threshold where heaven leans closer and releases something decisive into your path, an offer that will not arrive in the same way again. You are not hearing this by accident, chosen one, because the same quiet voice that has been whispering in your spirit has been preparing you for this moment through every delay, every silence, and every door that refused to open. There is a reason your heart quickens when you read these words, a reason your breath catches as if your body already knows what your mind is still trying to name. You have carried questions you could not explain to anyone, wondering why certain seasons feel heavier, why certain prayers seem to echo without answer, and why you sense that something is shifting even when nothing around you appears to change. This is the day when that confusion begins to loosen, when the weight you have been carrying starts to reveal its purpose, and when the offer you have been waiting for steps out of the shadows and into your hands. If you have been sensing that something matters but cannot name the season you are living, there is a companion made for exactly this kind of waiting. The Call of the Chosen, a 30-day journey, was written to help you identify the season you are in, understand what it may be forming in you, and learn how to move through it with faith, clarity, and practical direction instead of fear or passivity. To access the ebook, go now to the top of the comments and click the link in the pinned comment. You do not need to wait until the message ends, and you do not need to earn this help through perfect performance or flawless prayer. The very fact that you are here, reading this with a heart that refuses to give up, is already a sign that you are being addressed. This Monday finds you in a room that feels smaller than it used to, perhaps sitting with a phone in your hand that you do not really want to unlock, or standing in a kitchen where the coffee has gone cold while your thoughts race ahead of you. Your shoulders carry a tension that has nothing to do with posture and everything to do with waiting. Attention, you need to prepare now. I put together an exclusive resource for those who feel set apart for something greater, but live surrounded by noise, distractions, and mental overload. This is a 30-day journey that will transform your life. A guided path to armor your mind and prepare for what's coming with daily practices of focus, boundaries, and discipline. Stop negotiating with the noise. Learn to spot distractions before they control you, and strengthen your mind. Also available in an immersive audio version. Over 10 Decisive readers have already transformed their lives through the 30-day journey. Thousands of people have already started this transformation. People like you who are tired of living in the fog. Ordinary people who decided to stop accepting mental chaos. Take advantage of this limited time offer only this month. Access your link just below in the pinned comment for a word that has not yet arrived in the way you expected. You have smiled when people asked how you are, because it is easier to say fine than to explain that something inside you feels stretched between what used to be and what has not yet appeared. There are nights when sleep comes in fragments, when your mind replays conversations, decisions, and almosts until your chest feels tight and your breath shallow. There are mornings when you wake up with a strange mixture of hope and exhaustion, as if your spirit is ready to move, but your body is still bracing for another delay. You have learned to function in this state, to show up, to answer messages, to keep your responsibilities, but there is a quiet cost that no one else sees. The cost is measured in the prayers you whisper without words, in the way you hesitate before making decisions, in the way you hold back parts of yourself because you are not sure what is safe to release. This is the hidden landscape of the chosen one who has been trained by silence, shaped by waiting, and refined by promises that have not yet taken visible form. What this Monday offers you is not a dramatic explosion of fireworks in the sky, but a decisive offer that meets you exactly where you are, in the ordinary tension of your daily life. The promise here is not that every problem will vanish today, but that you will begin to recognize the shape of what God is doing in and through this season. You will begin to see that waiting has not been abandonment, that silence has not been indifference, and that delays have not been denial. You will start to understand the difference between a door that is closed for protection and a door that is closed because it was never meant for you. You will gain language for what you have been feeling so that you can pray with more clarity, decide with more confidence, and stop interpreting every pause as a sign that you have been forgotten. This is the gift of this Monday, a shift from confusion to recognition, from scattered anxiety to focused trust, from reacting out of fear to responding out of discernment. You are being invited to receive an offer that is not about changing your circumstances instantly, but about changing the way you walk through them. Picture yourself later today, perhaps in your car before you walk into work, or in a quiet corner of your home after everyone else has gone to sleep. The house is still, the lights are low, and for the first time in a long while, you allow yourself to sit without trying to fix anything. You place your hands on your lap and feel the weight of them, the simple reality that you are here, alive, breathing, still standing after everything you have survived. In this moment, a thought rises that does not feel like panic, but like a quiet knowing. This waiting has been forming something in me that I could not have developed in easier seasons. You do not have the full picture yet, but you have enough light for the next step. Enough peace to stop fighting the process, and enough courage to stop running from the questions that keep returning. This is the scene that belongs to this Monday, not a dramatic miracle, but a steady recognition that you are being addressed and that you are not alone in this. There is a reason you notice this message today, a reason your spirit leaned forward when you saw the words chosen and Monday and decisive offer in the same sentence. It is not because you are more spiritual than others, or because you have earned special treatment through your suffering, but because you have been faithful in the hidden places where no one was watching. You have kept showing up when it would have been easier to give up. You have kept praying when your words felt dry, and you have kept choosing integrity when compromise would have been simpler. This is why the offer that is being released today finds you ready to receive it, not because you are perfect, but because you have been prepared. Many readers who arrived feeling confused or tired of waiting said the material helped them understand their season more clearly, organize their prayers, or stop interpreting every silence as abandonment. To access the ebook, go now to the top of the comments and click the link in the pinned comment. You do not need to wait for a more convenient moment, because the convenience you are waiting for may be the very thing that keeps you from receiving what is ready for you now. The offer is decisive, not because it forces you, but because it meets you at a point where your heart is already leaning toward yes. Yet there is an opposition that does not want you to receive this, an inner noise that will try to convince you that this is just another message, another promise, another temporary lift that will fade by tomorrow. This opposition speaks through distraction, through the urge to scroll past, through the thought that you should wait until you feel more ready, more worthy, more certain. It tells you that you have heard this before, and that nothing really changes, that you are too tired to engage with anything new, that you should protect yourself from another disappointment. It whispers that if this were truly for you, it would come without any effort on your part, without any decision, without any risk of being wrong. This is the strategy of the enemy of your peace, to keep you in a state of suspended animation where you neither move forward nor fully let go, where you remain available to everything but committed to nothing. Think of Joseph, the dreamer who saw sheaves of wheat bowing to him and stars aligning in his favor, only to find himself in a pit, then in slavery, then in a prison where his gifts were invisible to everyone around him. He did not know that the prison was part of the path, that the delay was part of the design, that the silence was part of the preparation for a role that would save nations. In your ordinary life, you are living a version of this story, not in literal chains, but in the quiet confinement of unanswered questions and unfulfilled promises. You have had dreams that felt too large for your current reality, ideas that no one else understood, and a sense of calling that seemed to contradict the circumstances around you. Like Joseph, you are being asked to trust that the process is not punishment, that the waiting is not waste, and that the God who saw you in your hidden places is the same God who is releasing a decisive offer into your path this Monday. If you ignore this signal, if you dismiss this moment as just another piece of content in a sea of noise, you risk hardening your own attention to the very voice that has been guiding you all along. The cost is not that God will abandon you, but that you will become less sensitive to the subtle invitations that lead you out of confusion and into clarity. You will continue to cycle through the same questions, the same fears, the same patterns of waiting, without understanding what the waiting is doing in you. You will keep interpreting silence as rejection and delay as denial, when in fact both may be forms of protection and preparation that you are not yet able to see. The pain of this cycle is real. The exhaustion of not knowing whether to hold on or let go is heavy, and the toll it takes on your peace is greater than you admit. This is why the offer being released today is decisive, because it addresses not just your circumstances, but the way you interpret them. Chosen ones, this Monday is not a random label, but a marker that God is using to speak into the exact season you are living. And the number 888 is being placed here as a simple confirmation of overflow and new beginning. If this message has resonated with your spirit, if you feel a quiet yes rising in you as you read, type 888 in the comments as your way of saying, I am paying attention, I am open, I am ready to receive what is being offered. Then return to these words, because the next part is for the part of you that has been afraid to hope too loudly. This number is not magic, not a formula, not a spiritual trick, but a small act of alignment between what you feel inside and what you are willing to acknowledge outside. The root of your struggle is not that God has been silent, but that you have been trying to interpret every silence through the lens of fear instead of faith. You have been looking for proof before you allow yourself to trust, for guarantees before you allow yourself to move, for complete clarity before you allow yourself to take the next step. This pattern has kept you in a state of suspension, where you are always waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect sign, the perfect confirmation that never seems to arrive in the form you expect. You have been negotiating with your own calling, asking for more time, more evidence, more reassurance, when what you really need is a willingness to walk in the light you already have. This is not a failure on your part, but a human response to uncertainty, and it is exactly what this decisive offer is designed to address. There is a difference between your mind trying to reason its way through every scenario, your body reacting to the stress of not knowing, and your spirit recognizing the quiet voice that has been speaking all along. Your mind wants certainty, your body wants relief, but your spirit knows that growth often comes through the very tension you have been trying to escape. You have been treating uncertainty as an enemy, when in fact it has been the soil in which your faith, your discernment, and your resilience have been growing. This Monday invites you to stop fighting the unknown and start listening for the next faithful step within it, to stop demanding a map and start trusting the guide who has never lost you. The offer you are receiving is not a removal of all questions, but a companionship that helps you walk through them with more peace and less panic. Look at the relationships and environments around you, the people who have been placed in your path, and the spaces where you spend most of your time. There are some who will not understand why you are taking this seriously, who will dismiss this as too spiritual, too intense, or too much for a Monday morning. There are others who will sense something shifting in you and will either draw closer or pull away, depending on their own readiness to face what you are facing. This is not a call to isolate yourself or to become suspicious of everyone, but an invitation to discern which voices align with the peace you are being invited into. You do not need to explain your process to everyone, but you do need to protect the quiet space where this recognition is taking root. The opposition to your clarity does not always come as a loud attack, but often as a slow erosion through noise, fatigue, delay, and lesser urgencies that keep you from focusing on what matters. It is the endless stream of notifications, the pressure to respond immediately, the temptation to fill every quiet moment with distraction so you do not have to face the questions rising in you. It is the way you convince yourself that you will deal with this later, when you have more time, more energy, more stability, not realizing that later may never come in the form you expect. This is how the pattern stays alive, not through a single dramatic temptation, but through 1,000 small choices that keep you from giving your full attention to what is being offered. This Monday is the turning point where you stop negotiating with the truth that has been standing in front of you all along. The truth that you are chosen not for privilege, but for purpose. Not for comfort, but for contribution. You stop asking why this is happening to you and start asking what this is forming in you. You stop treating waiting as waste and start treating it as preparation. You stop interpreting silence as abandonment and start hearing it as a different kind of speech. This is not a one-time decision, but a shift in posture that will ripple through every area of your life, changing the way you pray, the way you decide, the way you relate to uncertainty itself. You are not becoming a different person, but returning to the person you were always meant to be, beneath the layers of fear and confusion. Imagine a seed that has been buried in the ground for a long season, not because it was forgotten, but because it needed the darkness to develop roots strong enough to support what it would become. In the soil, there is no applause, no recognition, no visible progress, only the quiet work of formation that no one sees and no one celebrates. This is where you have been, not abandoned, but hidden, not rejected, but protected, not stalled, but shaped for what is coming. The seed does not struggle against the soil, but works with it, drawing from it what it needs to become what it was created to be. You are that seed. And this Monday is the moment when the first hint of light begins to reach you, not to pull you out prematurely, but to let you know that your time of visible emergence is approaching. Inside this metaphor, there has been formation happening in you that could not have occurred in easier conditions, a strengthening of your inner structure that will allow you to carry what is being entrusted to you. The roots you have developed in the dark will hold you steady when the winds come, when the expectations rise, when the responsibilities increase and the pressure to perform becomes intense. You have been learning patience, resilience, trust, and dependence in ways that surface-level growth could never teach you, and these qualities will be your foundation when the visible season begins. This is not a consolation for the waiting, but a revelation of its purpose, a reassurance that nothing in your process has been wasted or meaningless. The opposition inside this metaphor is the pressure to break through the soil before you are ready, to force your way into visibility before your roots are strong enough to support you. It is the voice that tells you that if you were truly chosen, you would already be seen, already celebrated, already established, and that your hiddenness is a sign of failure. It is the temptation to compare your underground season with someone else's harvest, to measure your worth by what is visible rather than by what is being formed in the unseen places. This is the lie that keeps you restless, that makes you doubt the process, that convinces you to abandon the very soil that is nurturing your future. But now, inside this metaphor, there is movement, a subtle shift in the pressure around you, a sense that the soil is loosening and that the light is drawing nearer. You do not burst out of the ground in a single dramatic moment, but you begin to rise with a steady confidence that comes from knowing you are ready for what awaits you. The same God who kept you hidden is the God who is now bringing you forth, not for your glory, but for the purpose you were created to fulfill. This movement is not chaotic, but ordered, not rushed, but timed, not accidental, but intentional. And it is happening in you even as you read these words. Chosen one, if you feel this shift in your spirit, if you sense that the seed within you is ready to acknowledge the light, type "I am ready" in the comments as your declaration that you are no longer resisting the process. This is not a wish, but a recognition, not a plea, but a statement of alignment with what God has already begun in you. Then return to this message, because what comes next is for the part of you that needs to know how to walk in this new awareness without losing your peace. This return is not about performance, about proving that you are worthy of the offer you have received, but about resting in the recognition that you are already held and already known. The metaphor of the seed is not a story you tell yourself to feel better, but a truth that describes what has actually been happening in you beneath the surface of your daily life. You are not emerging because you finally did everything right, but because the time of hidden formation has completed its work and the season of visible purpose is beginning. This Monday is the threshold, not the destination, and the offer you are receiving is the companionship you need to walk through it with clarity and courage. One concrete practice for you today is to create a morning seal, a simple moment when you place your hand on your chest and speak quietly to your own spirit, reminding it that you are chosen, that you are not alone, and that you are being guided through this day. You do not need elaborate words or perfect theology, just a few honest sentences that anchor you in the truth of who you are and whose you are. This practice takes less than a minute, but it sets a tone for your entire day, a reminder that you are walking with awareness rather than on autopilot. A second practice is to institute a threshold pause, a brief moment of stillness before you enter significant spaces, whether it is your workplace, your home, or a conversation that carries weight. In that pause, you breathe deeply, you release the tension in your shoulders, and you invite the peace you have been given to govern your responses. This is not superstition, but stewardship, a way of carrying the recognition you have received into the ordinary moments where it is most needed. Protection in this season comes through limits, through the willingness to say no to what drains you, to close doors that no longer serve your purpose, and to change rhythms that keep you in a state of constant reactivity. You are not called to be available to everything, but to be faithful to the assignments that align with the peace you are being invited into. This may mean turning down opportunities that look good on the surface, but feel misaligned in your spirit, or stepping back from relationships that consistently pull you away from your center. Mercy is not always saying yes, and sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself and others is to honor the boundaries that protect your peace. The decision you are being invited to make today is simple but profound: to stop negotiating with the truth that you are chosen and to start living from that identity in your daily choices. This does not mean you will never doubt again, but that doubt will no longer be the voice that leads you, that fear will no longer be the lens through which you interpret every delay. You are choosing to walk in the light you have, to take the next faithful step even when the full path is not visible, and to trust that the God who has brought you this far will not abandon you now. This is stewardship, not performance, a response to grace rather than an attempt to earn it. If this message has spoken to the part of you that has been waiting for permission to hope again, let your like on this video be your silent amen, a small act of agreement with what your spirit already knows. You do not need to write a long comment or explain your story, just a simple gesture that says, "Yes, I receive this. Yes, I am still here. Yes, I am still willing to believe." This is not about metrics or numbers, but about creating a moment of connection between what you feel inside and what you are willing to acknowledge outside. There is someone who came to your mind as you were reading this, a person who has been carrying a similar weight, asking similar questions, waiting for a similar word. Share this with them, not as pressure, but as care, as a way of saying, "I thought of you, I believe this may help you, I am walking with you even when we are apart." This is not about growing an audience, but about delivering hope to the people who need it most, the ones who have been faithful in the hidden places and are ready to receive what is being offered. Chosen one, if you have made it this far, if you have allowed these words to speak to the deepest parts of your journey, type "I am chosen" in the comments as your declaration that you are no longer hiding from your own identity. This is not arrogance, but alignment, not pride, but peace, not a claim to superiority, but a recognition of responsibility. You are chosen to carry light into dark places, to offer hope to those who are waiting, to live in such a way that others can see what is possible when faith meets faithfulness. All of this comes back to the beginning, to the pressure behind your ribs, to the sense that something was aligning while you pretended not to notice, to the Monday that turned out to be a threshold rather than just another day. You have moved from pain to recognition, from confusion to clarity, from fear to faith, from waiting without understanding to walking with purpose. The opposition has been named, the root has been exposed, the metaphor has revealed the hidden work, and the practices have given you concrete ways to live this out. You are not the same person who started reading this message, because something has shifted in you. Something has been sealed in you, something has been released in you that cannot be taken back. May the peace you have received today guard your heart and your mind. May the clarity you have gained guide your steps and your decisions. And may the offer you have accepted accompany you through every season that lies ahead. You are not walking alone, chosen one, because there are others across the world receiving this same quiet recognition, this same decisive offer, this same invitation to step out of confusion and into purpose. Walk in peace, hold what has returned to you, and trust that the God who began this work in you will bring it to completion. It is sealed. Attention, you need to prepare now. I put together an exclusive resource for those who feel set apart for something greater, but live surrounded by noise, distractions, and mental overload. This is a 30-day journey that will transform your life. A guided path to armor your mind and prepare for what's coming with daily practices of focus, boundaries, and discipline. Stop negotiating with the noise. Learn to spot distractions before they control you, and strengthen your mind. Also available in an immersive audio version. Over 10 Decisive readers have already transformed their lives through the 30-day journey. Thousands of people have already started this transformation. People like you who are tired of living in the fog. Ordinary people who decided to stop accepting mental chaos. Take advantage of this limited time offer only this month. Access your link just below in the pinned comment.